So obviously we had a really huge announcement last week about Spongebob For Bikini Bottom Rehydrated coming to every single console imaginable. But what is everything we know so far? I compiled absolutely everything that we know so far in terms of official information and put it in one video. So here we go.
Sauce in my bag, swag.
A quick shout out to Natsuki. This is a fan art of Metal Duckles that they drew for me, and I'm really loving the detailed Metal Duckles here. I kind of love the style of this in particular, so thank you so much for this. And they also actually drew another drawing a little bit later of this. And I gotta say, I'm loving this one quite as well. This is done more as a joke, I think. But yeah, thank you so much for this. This is something I didn't know I wanted to see, and now I know that I wanted to see it, so there you go. Thank you. Anyway, hello there, beautiful human. My name is RidersDX, and welcome to my channel, where today I've got yet another video on For Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, but this one's gonna be a bit of a lengthy one because this is a video where I compile basically every single thing we know so far about this game as of the time that I'm recording this. So I'm recording this right now on Saturday, June 8th, so hopefully nothing gets revealed between now and Monday, which is when I plan on releasing this video, and so yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, I've got a total of 10 things about this game that I've gathered I'm going to share with you right now, so be sure to stick to the very end of the video to hear all 10 things that I was able to gather in terms of information on this game. There's some things that are very obvious, obviously, but there's also some things that people might not have picked up on, so I'm really looking forward to sharing some of those more obscure things in particular. So here we go. Number one, we're gonna start off really simple. This game is a remake, and so this is something that everyone has basically realized at this point, but I remember when the game was first announced, there was some confusion on whether or not this was just a basic remaster or full-on remake, but it is officially a remake. And so here is a statement that I got from the Steam page that explains exactly that. Are you ready, kids? The cult classic is back, faithfully remade in sponge-tastic splendor. Play as SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy and show the evil plankton that crime pays even less than Mr. Krabs. Want to save Bikini Bottom from lots of rampant robots with your mighty bubbles? Of course you do. Want to underpants bungee jump? Why wouldn't you? Want to join forces in a brand new multiplayer mode? The battle is on. So they said faithfully remade in that description. So yes, we know for sure that this is a remake, and this actually is a good transition to my second point, which is there will be online and split screen multiplayer as mentioned at the bottom of that box. So now let me show you another screenshot that I got from the Steam page that shows basically a bunch of different features of the game. So you see single players up there, you also see multiplayer, and you see that there's online multiplayer in particular. And something that they emphasized in this list is that there's going to be co-op, which I definitely can imagine for this game. This game definitely seems like it would be a really good game for co-op, and I could imagine that maybe you'll have some specific kind of levels where you're battling lots of robots in particular, or have to solve puzzles using two people. So I think this will be a really cool feature, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about that. There's another bullet point that I was able to get off the Steam page that explains the multiplayer slightly more. It says brand new Horde mode multiplayer for up to 2 players online and split screen. So Horde mode, I'm not really sure what that means. Actually, I wonder what Horde means as a word. Let me just look that up really quickly. Oh, Horde just means a large group of people, so that doesn't really help at all. But it says here that there's going to be both online and split screen, so that'll be good, because I was wondering, is it going to be the kind of multiplayer where everyone's on the same screen? But it looks like it will be split screen, so this will be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to learning more about like what this multiplayer mode actually entails. But the next point that I want to include is going to be a pretty big one, and that's that we have actual screenshots which actually show some pretty significant, well, I wouldn't say significant, but noticeable design changes. And so I'm actually got to credit a user on Twitter that tweeted this out to me. Their name is Jordan Zucker, and so this is one of the comments that I got. By the way, okay, so let me back up. I asked on Twitter if anyone had any thoughts on this game that they would possibly like to get included in this video. So this is something I'm starting to do with a lot of my videos, where I basically reach out to my subscribers or my followers on like social media platforms, and I ask them their thoughts about a certain topic, and they have a chance of getting their comments included in the video. And so you want a chance to have your comments included in the video, then be sure to follow me on Twitter, and yeah, maybe you'll stumble upon a tweet when I ask for an opinion, and you might get selected to be in the video. So Jordan Zucker in particular though gave a lot of interesting information that I want to highlight in this video, so let me just go to the tweets. Anyone else notice that the ham is metallic instead of being real ham? And then I said, I mean, maybe it was intended to be robotic? Good eye. And then Jordan says, possibly, perhaps the team working on the game would like to give updated changes to the enemies. It'd probably be nice to have the differences and changes to the enemies be pointed out in your next video. For example, Hammer's ham is now metallic. Look at the artwork. And so I'm showing off the artwork right now, and yes, you can tell that the hammer is metallic. Jordan said, the hammer, name of robot enemy, retains his original appearance, albeit with minor changes. The biggest difference, however, is that his hand weapon on his right arm, the hammer, hence the robot's name, I love it, is mechanical instead of being a real ham like in the original. And yeah, that's really interesting. I kind of forgot actually that the original, the robot had a real hammer, but I think it makes more sense, to be honest, to have the hammer be made out of metal because, well, it's a robot. And so I mean, some people might not like that change, but personally I think it's a good change, and I'm not one of those people that like wants everything in this game to stay exactly the same. Like, I will appreciate like some minor changes here and there just to kind of like beef up the experience a little bit. And so yeah, then there's a second thing that Jordan pointed out. The father robot enemy's name is similar to its original, but notable differences include the antenna on its head, its electric touch weapon is slightly altered, its lower jaw now has 2 teeth, and its eye is red with gray eyelids, whereas the original has a green and yellow eye. What I mean by green and yellow eye is that the original father from the original Battle for Bikini Bottom had a green eye with a yellow stripe, which what looks to be either its reflective catchlight or, as most like me have interpreted, its pupil. I gotta say, I think this robot looks a little bit more menacing compared to the original, which is not a bad thing. You know, I don't think the designs are too significant in terms of changes, but I will say it's a nice little touch, and it makes these robots look a little bit more modernized and a little bit more brand new. And so this is definitely a change that I support as well. And looking at the screenshots, actually, I was able to notice a few more differences between the original game and this remake. And so if you look at the screenshot with SpongeBob and his pineapple, you see in the middle over there a tiki, and in the tiki it's not just brown anymore, it's got red and yellow colors painted onto it. And I gotta say, it makes the tiki look a little bit more tropical, and so I do like the redesign. It makes tiki kind of pop out more in terms of colors, and I'm wondering what the other tikis are going to look like now if the tiki got a bit of a change in terms of colors and themes. So yeah, that's a very interesting thing to see. I don't notice anything else in this screenshot in particular. And also, there's one more thing I want to point out in terms of the screenshots, is that in the screenshot where you have King Jellyfish and Jellyfish Rock, you see that Jellyfish Fields is now set in a sunset sky instead of the clear blue sky that we were used to from the original game. And so Jellyfish Fields is being changed up like this. I wonder what other changes we'll see to other environments in the game, and I am liking this. I know some people are gonna have issues with like them changing up stuff like this, but personally I'm like, if you want to play the original, then just go play the original. That's my opinion, you know. I'm all for like Purple Lamp Studios kind of making their mark on the game and interpreting things in their own way and making things feel fresh again. So yeah, this is looking really good. If there are any other changes, by the way, that you noticed that I didn't pick up on in this video, then let me know that in the comment section below. But whew, that was a pretty long bullet point. Thank you to Jordan again for offering that insight. But now let's go on to the next point, which is cut content will be included. Alright, so this is a really big one. So here's what it says from the Steam page. Restore content that was cut from the original game, like the Robo Squidward boss fight and more. And so this is a really huge deal because there's a lot of cut content that people have been crying to get included in like a remake or remaster of this game. And the Robo Squidward one is definitely one of the most famous ones. So here's a picture of it that I was able to grab off of Google Images, and you see it looks a little bit different from like the Robot Squidward boss in Truth or Square. And you can kind of see that SpongeBob's kind of going around, and he is using a hook over here to kind of get up to where the switch is, and it looks like pressing that switch is what I am guessing makes those rock thingies in the top of the picture drop onto Robo Squidward. And so this will be a really interesting thing. I wonder if they're going to make the boss fight a lot like this, or if they're going to make like their own boss fight instead. I hope that they stick to this, because I would be really curious as to see like how this concept art is transformed into an actual boss, because this doesn't really look like the Robo Squidward boss in Truth or Square at all. Now, some other ideas I have in terms of cut content that could be included in this game is this Robo SpongeBob Muscle Pants boss that was uncovered a few years after the game was released, and this looks like it was supposed to be like another part of the final level. And I saw gameplay footage once of Patrick battling this boss, so that would be really interesting because technically Sandy has a little bit more time in Battle for Bikini Bottom than Patrick does, so this would be a good way to kind of even things out. Another level that I could imagine them putting in the game is Patrick's Dream, and you see this screenshot over here. It's basically a quick shot of someone being able to uncover this level in the original game and just kind of seeing how it runs. That is another thing that they could include. But yeah, there's also way more examples beyond that, I'm sure. I mean, I heard somewhere the glove world was another thing. There's a lot of ideas that they have in terms of cut content that they can include in this game, so that would be really interesting to see in the near future. Now, the next thing I want to say is definitely something for people that are like Mr. Krabs. The game is only 30 bucks. At first, I really don't want to be that bitch that complains about a game being too cheap, but I honestly feel like this game is worth more. However, I understand why now. You know, Spyro and Crash, those games were 3 games, and they came out to 40 bucks, while Battle for Bikini Bottom is just 1 game. I'll bet it's a little bit longer of a game compared to like the single Crash and Spyro games, but still, it is only 1 game, so it's only fair that they price it a little bit lower, and plus, it will have a few more features too, so I think the price is justified. It makes sense. And also, moving on to number 6, as you can see over here, the box art has been reviewed, and so we were actually able to grab these box arts off of the official THQ site. You know, I don't really know the technicalities of it specifically because you can't just directly access it, but we were able to get box arts for all the versions of the game, and all the box arts actually are slightly different. And so there are some box arts that show off the Krusty Krab on the left side, and then the Switch box in particular has the robot Spongebob on the top, which is really cool, you know, so it's really nice to see that the box arts are a little bit different. I think the reason that they did it is because the box arts have different dimensions, so it only makes sense that they need to add in a little bit more since the Switch box is a little bit longer, but I don't really feel like this is done too often with games in general, so it's really nice to see that each of the box arts kind of have their own little special touch made towards them. Now, number 7 is something that I think people will be very disappointed by, but I honestly think it makes sense, and I'm glad that they're doing this, but the game is not going to come out till 2020, and there's been multiple sources of this. So one, for example, is this Amazon listing that says the game is coming out in 2020, December 31st specifically, but that's obviously a placeholder date. And there's also been numerous publications saying that the game is coming out in 2020. And so while it does suck that we have to wait so long for the game to come out, I am glad that they're going to take their time with it and make sure that it's the best remake that possibly can be, because this game is so important in terms of not only the game itself, but also for the future of Spongebob Squarepants games. So I really hope they do a really good job with this game, just so it can like paint out a nice future for future SpongeBob games. Now, the number 8 thing, which is also sad, so I'm kind of like lumping all the bad news together, but the game is not coming to E3. And I know a lot of people were speculating that the game was going to be at E3, despite the fact that THQ Nordic said themselves in their tweet that it's not coming to E3, but the game is definitely not coming to E3. And I have a few pieces of, I'm going to say solid evidence, but you can kind of assume that this is what they're talking about. If you recall, in one of my previous videos where I was speculating whether or not this game was going to be a SpongeBob game, there was an email THQ Nordic sent to press talking about 2 games that they were going to show off at E3. And so this is a snippet of the email that they sent, and this is the one that mentioned the remake. But this remake says it's a long-awaited return of a galactically beloved game/franchise. And you know what other game THQ Nordic announced that is a remake that is a little bit more fitting in terms of description? Destroy All Humans. And more reasons that this is going to be the game reviewed at E3 is because we already have a full trailer of this game and in-game screenshots, unlike Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I mean, maybe those screenshots, this is a whole nother topic for another day, but those screenshots, I'm not really sure are actual screenshots. They kind of look like concept art to me, so that's something that we'll have to kind of wait and see, but you can tell that these Destroy All Humans screenshots are actual in-game screenshots. It looks a lot more likely that this is a real game, and so I think Destroy All Humans is the remake they're talking about in terms of the game being shown off at E3. But I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I honestly would not be surprised if I was not wrong, especially given the fact that this game seems to be coming out in 2020. Now, number 9, and this is something that I covered previously, is the fact that Heavy Iron Studios is not involved with this game in any shape or form. It is being developed by Purple Lamp Studios, who previously made a game called The Guild 3. Now, if you want me to talk more about this in particular, then I'll leave a link in the top right corner to my previous SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom video, so you can kind of check that out after this video is completed. But that's all I'm going to say about this. Now, the last one, and this is kind of cheating because it's not really like a fact, but nonetheless, it does put into perspective like how awesome this is. It's the fact that people are really excited for this game. Now, I'm showing a screenshot right now of THQ Nordic's YouTube page, and on this page, I have sorted the videos out by the most popular videos, and as you can see, the Battle for Bikini Bottom teaser trailer has already overtaken all the other videos as the most watched video in just 3 days. You know, when this video is uploaded, I can only imagine just how much further it's going to be ahead of Spellforce 3. And so this kind of just tells me that there is a lot more hype for this game than than even I was anticipating. And also, like I mentioned before, I went to my Twitter to kind of get people's thoughts on this game, and here are some of the thoughts that people shared with me. I never played the original version of the game, so it would be fun to see why this one was so special. I think this is going to be the best thing in history, no exaggeration. I'm so excited for Rehydrated. The original Battle for Bikini Bottom was amazing, which means this has to be amazing as well. Also, THQ Nordic is behind it, so that's a plus. I'm just so excited I can explode. Patrick's teeth look kind of weird, otherwise everything looks epic. This remaster can be really amazing, or hopefully not. It could flunk and do bad because Purple Lamp is a totally different company and they could do amazing on visuals, but the game physics could be messed up. Hopefully it will be amazing. Also, if it succeeds, maybe lights, camera, pants. Never expected this to be a thing, but I'm hyped as THQ Nordic have gave Activision the biggest middle finger of all time. I'm very happy they did. Well, that's some shade right there, Angry J Sponge. But yeah, you know, what's really been awesome about like this whole review and everything that's been going on is the fact that not only do old fans get a chance to relive this game, but new fans as well will get a chance to play this game that didn't get a chance to play it beforehand. And I think that's just the most beautiful thing about this remake is that people that did not get a chance to play this game will finally get a chance to experience it in the glory that it is. And yeah, that just warms my heart so much. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say. That was a pretty extensive list, so if you all were able to stick by me throughout this whole video, then thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully there'll be more news soon, but if there isn't, I really wouldn't be surprised because it looks like this game is still kind of deep in development, so we might not hear stuff for a while, but I'm just so happy that it's a thing. You know, that's enough for me right now, and I can't wait for more news to come out, especially about the multiplayer mode and the cut content. That'll be really interesting to hear about. But okay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are some things that really excite you about this game? What are some things that you're really concerned about? Is there anything I missed in my list? If there is, then let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, thank you so much. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future, follow me on Twitter or Twitch, and join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. Now this is Riders, riding out. A quick shout out to my special duckies, Reese Gaming and Sodden Grider. You would like to become a ducky, then please check out either my YouTube membership or my Patreon in the description box below. Thank you.